Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss conformational analysis of cyclic alkanes. So, as we know that conformation is a special category of stereoisomers which actually exist in the molecules in the hydrocarbons containing single bond, carbon-carbon single bond. And in that case, because the rotation around carbon-carbon single bond and the flipping is possible, therefore we can get different configurations of atoms around in the molecule, and these are all interconvertible into each other at room temperature, because that rotation requires very little amount of energy. So we can actually analyze different type of these conformational structures and their relative energy together, and today we are going to discuss about the cyclic alkanes. The cycloalkanes we call them, how they show different conformations and what is the relative stability of these conformations. So we know that in the alkanes, whenever we have a carbon-carbon single bond, the carbon atom involved is containing sp3 hybridization. So sp3 hybridized carbon, it is having tetrahedral structure we know, and the bond angle, the optimum bond angle, the different hybrid orbitals, it should be 109.5 degree. So this bond angle actually it represent the tetrahedral nature of carbon. But the in the this is the bond angle in the ideal situation, right? So whether the bond angle, that is the ideal bond angle, it can be maintained or not. So if the cycloalkanes they are flat, what bond angle you expect to be present? Like if I see, because we are talking about the cycloalkanes. So here what happens, the hybrid orbitals, they have to turn towards to each other so that to perform an effective overlap. So if I see that the cycloalkanes are flat, they are planar molecule. So in a planar cyclopropane, what should be the bond angle? It should be the 60-degree. But if you look at the ideal bond angle, it is 109.5 degree for sp3 hybridized carbon, but it is 60 degree in the cyclopropane. Then come to the cyclobutane, it becomes 90 degree. Again, a far away value from 109.5. Then in the cyclopentane, it should be 108 degree. Cyclohexane 120 degree. Cycloheptane 129 degree. Cyclooctane 135 degree. So you see, to optimize the bond angles, most cycloalkanes are not flat in their stable conformation. So, just like we are representing them on the paper in the form of a flat molecule, in actual practice, these cycloalkanes they are never a planar molecule. Why? Because they cannot maintain this type of angle, right? That 60-degree angle is not possible. It is far away from the sp3 hybrid angle of 109.5. So it will create a lot of strain in the molecule. Similarly, you can see that as you increase the number of carbon atoms in the in the in this cycle, if you increase the number of carbon atom, what is happening? There is a continuous increase in the bond angle value, and it becomes optimum around 120 degree, which is the nearby value of 109.5, and also cyclopentane when it becomes 108 degree. So because this ideal bond angle is not possible in the cycloalkanes, they are never a flat molecule. They don't have any stable flat structure. But because they have to maintain their cyclic nature, right? That cycle has to be maintained. They should have a closed chain structure. So they are also less flexible as compared to the open chain alkanes. In case of the open chain alkanes, we have seen in the previous lecture that the carbon and carbon single bonds, they can undergo rotation around the axis, and these rotations are of so minimal energy that they can take place at even the room temperature. So that flexibility of rotation around the carbon-carbon double bond, it is not possible in case of cycloalkanes, and therefore we can say that cycloalkanes are less flexible. When you compare them with the open chain alkanes, they are less flexible, and they are not that free to change their structure. They have this constant always with them that they have to maintain a cycle, they have to maintain a closed chain structure. So therefore, much less conformational freedom is available in case of cycloalkanes. So let us discuss the stability of these compounds. So if you can compare the heat of combustion reported per CH2 group for cycloalkane. Heat of combustion when you are burning them, right? When you are reacting to the carbon dioxide. So per CH2 group, what is the value of heat of combustion? So for cyclopropane containing 3 CH2 group, it is 697. Then for cyclobutane, 4 CH2 group, 680 kilojoule. Then cyclopentane, 658. Cyclohexane, 653. Cycloheptane, 657, and it becomes now constant once you have reached to the six carbon membered chain, membered ring. So cycloheptane again 657, cyclooctane 658. So this heat of combustion is representing what? This is representing the stability of this cyclic structure. And you see, when once we have reached to the six-membered chain cycle, six-membered ring, what happens now? The heat of hydrogenation is almost constant here. So on the basis of this data, we can predict the stability of cycloalkane as the cyclopropane being the least stable structure. Then cyclobutane a little bit more stable as compared to the cyclopropane. Then cyclopentane is much stable as compared to both of these. And lastly, the cyclohexane, which is really very stable as compared to the cyclopropane, cyclobutane, and cyclopentane. So, on the basis of the heat of combustion values, which are reported for cycloalkene, we can establish the stability of these compounds. So, now, what happens in the cycloalkane? Because the molecule is less stable, we know that from the heat of the hydrogenation values that cyclopropane is very less stable, then cyclobutane is also less stable. So, what makes them unstable? What is the basic reason that cyclopropane and cyclobutane are unstable and cyclohexane, cyclohexane, they are stable ones? So, let us again look at their bond angles. We know that for the ideal sp3 carbon, the bond angle should be 109.5 degree. But in case of cyclopropane, what is the angle? The possible angle is 60 degree. So how when the sp3 hybrid orbitals, they have to bend towards each other to make a triangle like structure. They are bending towards each other. So it is not possible for them to maintain their ideal bond angle. And when they are doing whatever is natural for them, they are going away from their natural behavior. So that is how they becomes unstable, because the bond angle, the ideal bond angle reflects what? It is the ideal condition, the ideal position of the four sp3 hybrid orbitals. So when they have to bend towards each other in order to form a cyclic structure, in order to form a ring, they are actually deviating from their ideal behavior, and this deviation is actually responsible for the lesser stability of small rings in the cycloalkanes. So this less stability, you attribute this thing to the ring strain. What you call this is the ring strain, that in place of the ideal bond angle of 109.5 degree, the bond angle is now only 60 degree. The bond angle is now only 90 degree. So this is the deviation from the ideal value, and this is causing the strain inside the cyclic compound, strain in the cycloalkanes. So this is the angle strain, but also ring strain exists here. So now let us discuss what are the different types of chemical strains which are present in the cycloalkane molecules. What are the different type of strains? So first of all, let us see what is a strain. When a molecule is less stable, and that could be obviously due to the electronic repulsions, or you can see when it is not in the ideal geometry. So these are the two factors which makes the molecule unstable. So you call it a strain. When a molecule is less stable due to electronic repulsion and it is not in the ideal geometry. So that strain present in the molecule especially in case of the cycloalkanes. This can be of different types. You can attribute this strain to different factors actually, and all these factors give a different name to the strain. So when you have angle strain, what is angle strain? The bond angle is deviating from the ideal bond angle, that is sp3 hybridization in the carbons. And what is the ideal angle? We know that it is 109.5 degrees. So since the bond angle has to deviate a lot from the ideal value, so this causes angle strain in the cycloalkanes. Second is the torsional strain. Now what is it? The resistance to the bond twisting, that is the eclipsing of the bond on the neighboring atoms. So it resists to twist, and this is the torsional strain. We know that there is a less degree of freedom in case of the cycloalkanes. They cannot flip that frequently. They cannot show the free carbon-carbon bond rotations. So whenever it comes to the bond twisting, there is always some resistance involved, and we call it the torsional strain. Then the third type of strain that is possible is steric strain, and the steric strain is actually due to the 3D orientation of the molecules, 3D orientation of the substituent around the carbon chain, in the carbon ring. So the strain is due to the repulsive interactions when the atoms being too close together in the close proximity. So when the atoms are close together, what they do, their electronic clouds, they repel each other, and this makes the molecule unstable. So this sort of strain is due to the steric hindrance, and we call it steric strain. The last category of a strain that exists in the cycloalkane is ring strain, and it results from a combination of the angle strain, torsional strain, and steric strain. So all these three type of strains together, when they are combined in a cycloalkane molecule, they are known as ring strain, because simply we can say that a short membered carbon ring, it has to maintain its structure. If we have a cyclopropane, it has to maintain its ring structure, and that ring structure is actually having very high energy. So how it will do that? It becomes unstable. So when you are counting all these factors together, you call it a ring strain. That is, the ring has to maintain its ring state. Now, let us look at the very first, the simplest member of this ring family, cyclopropene. Now, when the heat of the hydrogenation value was seen for the cyclopropane, it is around 44 kilojoule per mole, less stable than the cyclohexane per CH2 group. If you are taking only the value for a CH2 group, a single CH2 group, so cyclopropane is having 44 kilojoule per mole more energy is as compared to the cyclohexane. So it shows that it is a highly strained structure, and therefore it is very reactive. It tends to achieve a more stable state. So that strain in the cyclopropane, you can attribute it to two different factors. First is the angle strain, and it is due to the bond angle. When the bond angle is deviating a large from its ideal value, so the bond angle of 60-degree causes electron pair repulsion in the adjacent bonds, and this is actually causing the insufficient sigma bond overlap, because the hybrid orbitals, they have to bend a lot, and because of that they cannot overlap so effectively. So this structure of a cyclopropane, it is having really high energy, and it reacts quickly in order to achieve a stable low energy state. The second strain in the cyclopropane is the torsional strain, and this is why the torsional strain is coming, because eclipsing CH bond all the way around the ring. So that you can understand by using the Newman's projection. Yes, this is the Newman projection. This is the 3D structure of the cyclopropane molecule. We have three carbon atoms and two hydrogens on each of the carbon atoms. So you can see that the sp3 hybrid orbital, it has to bend a lot in order to make a ring-like structure. If you see the Newman's projection, so this is the front carbon, this is the rear carbon. On the front carbon, suppose this is my front carbon and this is the rear carbon. One of the CH2 is present on the rear carbon, right? and this is attached to the front carbon as well. So this is the Newman's projection, and this the CH2 group is actually creating the strain here and blocking the free rotation around carbon-carbon bond. This is the torsional strain, and this is the structure of the cyclopropane in terms of the electronic cloud. So this is showing that the sp3 hybrid orbitals, they have to bend in order to overlap together, and even after bending so much, even after deviating from the ideal value so much, they cannot overlap effectively. So this makes the cyclopropane molecule really unstable one. So bonding in the cyclopropane, we see the reduced overlap of sp3 hybridized orbital. This is a typical sp3 hybridized orbital in the alkane carbon-carbon single bond having the bond angle 109 degree, and in the cyclopropane, see if they have to, if they are they were orienting in their original structure, these orbitals will be at these positions. So in that case, the overlap will not possible at all. So they have to bend towards each other in order to overlap and form a ring structure. So the total strain of cyclopropane is actually the addition of contribution from angle strain and torsional strain. Now let us discuss the cyclobutane molecule. If you again compare the heat of the hydrogenation value per CH2 group, in case of the cyclobutane, it is 27 kilojoule per mole less than the cyclohexane. So again, the structure is not that stable as compared to the cyclohexane, and that you can understand by just looking at the value of heat of hydrogenation. So the cyclobutane ring is not planar. As I told you that it is really difficult to maintain a planar structure for these molecules because their bond angle is quite away from the ideal value. So in order to increase their bond angle, to enter into a comfortable state, this cyclobutane molecule is slightly folded, and this type of structure, you call it a puckered conformation. Puckered structure is there in the case of cyclobutane. So you can see that in this diagram, this is cyclobutane. We have four carbon atoms, and this type of conformation in which the two carbons are they are in the one plane and the other two are in the one plane. This is the puckered structure. It shows that the cyclobutane, it is not stable in the planar form, and it is not like a simple rectangle like we represent it on the paper. Rather, it is a puckered conformation which gives it required stability, and now the bond angle is actually reaches to 88 degree. So what are the factors which are unstabilizing the cyclobutane molecule? So first we have here the angle strain. This angle strain actually results from the bond angle of 88 degree. Although it is not as severe as the 60 degree, so you can say that the bond angle is a little bit greater in the cyclobutane, and it is giving somewhat relief to the ring. But at this point also, it is away from the ideal value of 109.5 degree. So yet we have some sort of angle strain present in the molecule. The second factor which is contributing towards the strain of this molecule is the torsional strain. But yes, again the value of torsional strain is also less, and we can say that a slight torsional strain is present in the molecule. So it results because the adjacent carbon-hydrogen bonds, they are neither fully eclipsed nor fully staggered. So this intermediate sort of arrangement in the cyclobutane molecule is actually the torsional strain that is imparting to the molecule. So you can see the Newman's projection. This is the puckered structure, and this is the Newman's projection. So this is the front molecule, and the circle behind it is the rear molecule, rear carbon atom, and front carbon atom. On front carbon atom and rear carbon atom, they are having CH2 groups, two CH2 groups between them, and now because this is now having two CH2 groups, so the torsional strain is a bit relieved, right? Like in case of the cyclopropane, we are having a triangle at this case. So it was facing a lot of torsional strain. But here, because we have two CH2 groups, so a little bit relaxation is given to the molecule, and now it is having lesser torsional strain. But yes, still exists, and the overall strain in the cyclobutane molecule, it can be attributed to due to the presence of Engel strain and slight torsional strain. Now discuss about the cyclopentane molecule. We have five carbon atoms in the ring, and this five-membered carbon ring is only 5 kilojoule per mole less stable as compared to the cyclohexane. If you compare the per CH2 group energy, so you can see that when we are increasing the number of carbon atoms in the ring, uh, gradually you are achieving more and more stability in the molecule. When you talk about the cyclopentane, yes, it is not that stable as compared to the cyclohexane, but it is more stable as compared to cyclobutane and cyclopentane. So the little amount of strain that is present in the cyclopentane, that is due to basically again two factors. First is the angles are close to the optimal value, so that strain is reduced so much, and the angles are close to around 109 and 110 degree, 108 degrees. So the angles are so close, and therefore it is only 5 kilojoule per mole less stable than the cyclohexane. Now, if you identify the minimal but significant torsional strain in the structure, which result from cyclopentane assuming a slightly bent conformation, and in that one or two of the atoms of the ring they are out of the plane of the other. So you call such structure is the bent or envelope conformation. So this is the a typical representation of the envelope conformation. If the viewer is from here, and if it is observing the molecule like this is the Newman's projection for the molecule. Now, if you see, this is the front carbon, this circle is the rear carbon, and these two carbons are having a three-membered ring in between them. So this actually reducing the strain in the molecule because it is getting a little bit greater freedom as compared to the earlier small chain member or small ring members. So to get the stability, to achieve the stability, the molecule is slightly bent, and you can see that the two molecules they are above the plane and two are below the plane, and then over all structure can be referred to as the envelope conformation, just like an envelope. If you have seen the envelope, it is you have four corners in the one plane and one is above open like this. So you can imagine an open envelope in case of the cyclopentane. Then after cyclopentane, we have cyclohexane molecule, and the cyclohexane is considered to have zero ring strength. And among the family of cycloalkane, this is the most stable type of ring structure. So why do we say that it is having zero ring strength in the optimal conformation? How it happens? So first of all, let us see the most stable conformation of cyclohexane is the chair conformation, in which it takes the form of a chair. So what is the chair conformation? You can imagine it. You can imagine it like this. This is the chair conformation: one, two, three, four, five, six. Six carbon atoms in the chair form. So this chair conformation is the most stable conformation of cyclohexane, and how we can say that it is having no ring strain? So first of all, the angles are around 109.5 degrees. This is the condition, right? So that is achieved in the case of a chair conformation, and also no torsional strain is present as all the CH bonds they are staggered. So cyclohexane have another conformation, that is the most stable conformer of the cyclohexane known as the chair conformation, which meets both of these criteria. Therefore, it has very little steric strain. If you see the structure, this is the chair conformation having a chair-like structure like this. This is the molecular arrangement. Now in the chair structure, if you see these bonds, the bond between the carbon and hydrogen, they are actually of two different types. All the carbon hydrogen bonds are not similar. If you consider their 3D orientation, all the carbon hydrogen bonds, they are not similar. Rather, they have a certain difference between them. You can actually divide these bonds into two categories, the axial bond and the equatorial bond. So axial and equatorial, these two positions, they could be on the six carbons of this ring. So see the vertical bonds in the direction above the molecule or below the molecule. This is the axial. Is the axial position, and when they are in the same direction in the same plane of the molecule, this is the equatorial position. So simply you can say that the vertical bonds, they are the axial bond and the horizontals are the equatorial bonds. If you carefully observe the molecule, on alternate carbon atom we have the axial bonds in the up and down side of the molecule. So if you consider this as carbon number 1, in the carbon 1 you have hydrogen in the axial position above, then carbon number 2 hydrogen, axial hydrogen in the position below, then axial hydrogen above, axial hydrogen below, axial hydrogen above. So on 3 of the carbon we have axial hydrogen above, and on 3 others we have axial hydrogen below. So this is the orientation of axial hydrogens in the cyclohexane. And if you look at the equatorial bonds, so in the equatorial case also, we have alternate arrangement. So this alternate arrangement, if you see, especially in case of the axial hydrogens, this axial arrangement, alternate axial arrangement of the hydrogens on the alternate carbon atom, this is providing very stable structure to the cyclohexane, because this type of arrangement, this sort of configuration is giving least energy to the molecular structure. Now the molecule will be having least energy because of the minimum repulsion between the hydrogen atoms due to the minimum steric hindrance, and molecule will be really stable. So it is not only the bond angle that is relieving the molecule from its strain, but also it is the arrangement of the hydrogen axial hydrogens in the chair conformation, which is actually responsible to a very stable structure of cyclohexane. If you see the Newman projection of the molecule, this is the front carbon and the rear carbon, front carbon, rear carbon. The two carbons, the front carbons having a CH2 group between them. The two rear carbons are also having a CH2 group, and they both are having the two hydrogens on each of them. So you can see that now the molecule has attained a greater stability due to a little bit of greater freedom as compared to the earlier small membered ring structures. So, how will you identify the axial and equatorial bonds in the cyclohexane? So, when you have a chair-like conformation of cyclohexane, it has two types of hydrogen. First, in the axial CH axis is perpendicular to the plane of the ring, and equatorial, in which CH axis is parallel to the plane of the ring. So actually the cyclohexane, it has two faces. Each phase has alternating axial and equatorial hydrogen. So if you see these big pink circles, they are the equatorial hydrogens, sorry, axial hydrogens, and the blue circles, they are the equatorial hydrogens. So all the axial hydrogens, three are above and three are below. All the axial hydrogens, they are not together pointed in only one direction of the molecule. Otherwise, what will happen? They will together repel each other, and there will be a lot of steric hindrance. So to avoid that steric hindrance, like I told you, on each of the alternating carbon atom, one is above and one is below. One hydrogen is above, one hydrogen is below. So we have a alternate arrangement of these axial hydrogens. And these equatorial hydrogens, they are in the same direction. They are actually parallel to the plane of the ring, and that is why they are not creating any steric hindrance. So this is the top face of the molecule. You can see only three axial hydrogens, and this is the bottom face. Again, you can see three axial hydrogens. So at a time, only three axial hydrogens are present on either side of the molecule, and they are also present on the alternating carbon atoms. Now, you can compare the conformations of the cycloalkane. So let us look at the cyclopropane first. The bond angle is 60 degree, and all the CH bonds they are eclipsed and therefore has a torsional string. Then the planar structure of a molecule is creating lot of strain, and the bond instability and can be attributed to this planar structure, which is causing strain in the molecule, and therefore it becomes very reactive molecule. Then see at the cyclobutane bond angle is 90 degree. Minimal torsional strain is present here, but it is slightly bent structure. It is having which is out of the plane of the molecule, and this bend actually increases the angle strain but decreases the torsional strain. Then come to the cyclohexane molecule, and in the cyclopentane molecule, and the bond angle is 108 degree, very high torsional strain. Four carbon atoms are in a one plane, and fifth carbon atom is pointed like this. So this is like an envelope, and we call it envelope structure of the cyclopentane. In the case of cyclohexane now, the bond angle is exactly 109.5 degree, and that the molecule is attaining by going to the chair conformation. So again, the cyclohexane, even if it is a stable molecule, it is not. It is also not a planar molecule. It is not having planar structure. It is free of the torsional stream. Why? Because it has attained a much stable chair-like conformation. Now let us discuss the conformations of cyclohexane, chair and boat. What is the chair conformation? See, in the cyclohexane molecule, each carbon atom has one axial and one equatorial hydrogen. Each face of the ring has three axial and three equatorial hydrogens in the alternating arrangement. So, when you have the chair conformation of cyclohexane, it actually contains six axial hydrogens which are vertical to the plane of the ring, and six hydrogen equatorial parallel to the plane of the ring. So in this manner, the molecule actually it relieves of its steric hindrance and attains a very stable structure. So you can notice that the adjacent axial position point in the opposite direction, and the same is true for the equatorial position. So if you look at the two adjacent carbon atoms, this is one carbon atom, second carbon atom. So if you see on this carbon atom number 1, the axial hydrogen is pointed above the plane of the molecule, and carbon atom 2, the axial hydrogen is below the molecule. And if you look at the equatorial hydrogen, so this equatorial hydrogen is actually behind the face of the molecule, and this is towards the viewer, in front side of the molecule. So both the axial and the equatorial hydrogens on the two adjacent carbon atoms, they are located in the opposite directions, and that is how it is relieving of its steric hindrance. So this chair conformation is very stable because it eliminates the angle strain. And what is that angle strain? We have just seen that the ideal bond angle for sp3 hybridized carbon, it is 109.5 degree. So by arranging its molecule in this manner, the cyclohexane actually tries to reach up to that bond angle which is the ideal one. And in this manner, it eliminates the angle strain. The second important factor is the torsional strain. So because all the hydrogens on the adjacent carbon atom, they are staggered. And you know that whenever we have a staggered conformation, it minimizes the torsional strain. So in this manner, the chair conformation of the cyclohexane, it actually eliminates both the angle strain and the torsional strain. And that is why this becomes the most stable cycloalkane molecule when you are comparing it to the lower size rings like cyclopropane, cyclobutane, cyclopentane. So how do you draw the chair conformational structure? So it is very important, and if you are drawing the wrong structure, then It could give you a penalty of marks. So you must know how to draw a proper skeleton of the cyclohexane. Whether it is substituted or not, that is another point of matter. But you should know that what steps should be followed when you are drawing the skeleton of the chair conformation. You can see this is step one. You are drawing three carbon atoms and they are towards the viewer, right? Then in the step 2, what you are doing, you have to put a mirror, you have to put a plane of symmetry, and then you have to draw another carbon atom. Then in the step 3, you are drawing another part, and like this, what you have to keep remember that only a certain phase, only two carbon atoms are towards the view, right? Only two carbon atoms. So that is why they are shown with this wedge-like structure, and other are in the plane. So in this manner, you can see that you can imagine this triangular part of the molecule. It is in one plane, and this triangular part is on the other plane. And these four carbon atoms, they are in the single plane. So it gets the structure like this. This is the chair structure, chair conformation. So one needs to be really careful when drawing these structures. Like some bad examples are given here. You do not, please don't ever draw a chair like this. Now, what are the other key factors you must remember? So, when a chair formula is drawn, the axial bonds are all either up or down in a vertical orientation. So, axial bonds should be like this. Okay, so these type of structure, they are not acceptable. Either they are vertical or they are horizontal. But this type of structure, it is highly unacceptable. So you have to draw the axial bonds either up or down, and you should remember that on three of the carbon, three are vertically up, and three are vertically down. So this thing you should also remember. Then when a vertex of the bond in the ring points up, the axial bond at that position is also up. So this up vertex, this should have the upper axial, and this carbon will have a lower axial, right? So this is the convention. And the equatorial bond at the same carbon is angled slightly down. So the horizontal or the equatorial bond, they are not exactly a straight line, rather they are pointed slightly down whenever they are present on any of the carbon atoms. So these are the points you should remember when you are drawing the skeleton of a cyclohexane. When a vertex of the ring bond is down, the axial bond at that position is also down. This is the vertex which is in down position, so the axial bond will be in the down position only, like this. And when the vertex is in the up position, so axial bond will be in the upper side. This is the vertex of ring up, and this is the vertex of ring down. So up, axial structure up, axial bonds up, and down for down vertex, you have the down axial bonds. These are the position of axial bonds like you draw. And for the equatorial bond, they are parallel to the ring bond that are one bond away from them in the either direction. So when you are drawing the equatorial bond, they are like this. On the up, vertex up, vertex of the ring up, you are drawing the hydrogen atom which is slightly bent. And similar is the case, and all the hydrogens, all the equatorial hydrogens, they are slightly bent from the plane of the molecule. So this is the manner with which we draw skeleton of the cyclohexane. These are the equatorial bonds. On the opposite side, they are pointed towards the opposite direction. That is how it minimizes the strain. So it is very important when you are drawing the molecule. If you are drawing the wrong structure, it is showing a wrong conformation. It is not the chair conformation which has achieved the highest stability. Then after this, there is a very important phenomena called ring flipping of chair conformation. What is the ring flipping? So, when a cyclohexane ring undergoes a chair-chair conformational change, one form of chair is converted to another form of the chair. You call it a ring flip. So, what happens during a ring flip? All of the bonds that were axial, they become now equatorial, and all the bonds that were equatorial, they are now axial. So it is simply the flipping between the axial and equatorial bonds, and one form of chair is now converted into another form of the chair. So both are the chair conformations. And you can notice that only when you have if you can number the carbon atoms in the cyclohexane. So in that case only you can see the relative orientation of axial and equatorial bond on different carbon atoms. So let us look at the diagram. Here the numbering has been done. This is the carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the red colored line, they are showing the axial bond. So you can see the three axial bond on the upper side of the molecule and three axial bond on the lower side of the molecule. Now, like I told you, when the ring flipping is taking place, the axial will be equatorial and equatorial will be axial. So what happens now? Now this part of the molecule is going down and this vertex down is coming to the upper side. So this vertex down is now vertex up and this vertex up is now vertex down. This is simply what you have rotated the molecule like this. Earlier it was like this, and if you do it like this, what happens now? The ring has flipped. So what changes during a ring flipping? This carbon number 1 containing the axial bond. Now you can see this is carbon number 1 and that axial is now become equatorial. And the equatorial black line, it is now what? It is the axial bond, right? Because we are following the similar process. The vertex up will be having an axial bond up, right? And the vertex down will be having axial bond down. So this is a simple process of ring flipping, and because this requires very little amount of energy, it can take place even at the room temperature. So it is a spontaneous process occurring continuously. So similar case, now the molecules have been drawn in this diagram, and now the spheres have been made. The red spheres are showing the axial hydrogens, and now they have taken the equatorial position after the ring flipping. So let us see if we have a substituent present on the cyclohexane. Then after the ring flipping, this will change the presence of substituent, right? So if you see carefully, this is the chlorocyclohexane, and if you consider this is the carbon atom number 1 and chloro is attached to the equatorial bond. So after when the ring flipping is done, this should not be the structure, right? How you will see, how will you make a proper structure after ring flipping? This is a very important point. So now what happens in the ring flipping? We know that the axials are becoming equatorial and equatorials are becoming axial. So what happens in the ring flipping? You rotate the molecule in the clockwise direction like this, and now the lower vertex is coming up and upper is going to the downside, and after this the equatorial will be axial. So because this part of the molecule is going down, this will be an axial bond going towards the downside of the molecule. So this is the correct structure that you can draw after the ring flipping of this chair conformation. So if you have no substituent attached on the cyclohexane molecule, then it is not going to trouble you at all. But if your cyclohexane is containing some substituent at axial or equatorial position, then it becomes really typical how you will draw the structure of cyclohexane, the chair conformation after the ring flipping is done. This is the chair-chair interconversion of cyclohexane. See, this process is a really spontaneous one. It is taking place even at the room temperature. And when the chair form is getting converted into another chair form, then in that case, what happens? Your chair conformation is going through a lot of changes. So, what are the different other structures through which the chair conformation is passing? So, first of all, look at this diagram. We are starting from a chair conformation. Now, what happens in this chair conformation? One part of the conformation is one vertex is down and one vertex is up. Now, it is converted into half chair. So, one vertex is coming to the plane of the molecule and other vertex is still up. Then it becomes a twist board when the two vertex they are twisting and facing away from each other. Then it is converting into board conformation. In the board conformation, both the vertex they are on the same side. Then twist board, so the two vertexes they are twisting from each other again, and then it is again becoming a half chair structure in which one vertex is in the plane of the molecule and other is below or above the molecule. And finally, this chair conformation has converted into another chair conformation and the flipping is complete. So after the flipping, your the equatorial bonds, which were initially in the they are in the blue color, right? So equatorial hydrogens, now they have attained the axial position, like you can see here. And now the equatorials, they have attained the axial position. So axials are equatorial and equatorials are axial after this chair to chair interconversion is complete. Then another important conformation of the cyclohexane is Bode conformation, in which the two vertex, they are in the on the same side of the molecule. So, but this is a less stable conformation as compared to the chair conformation. So why is it so? Because it is having a high energy as compared to the chair conformation, and this can be attributed to two facts. What are these two facts? So first point is, in the Bode conformation, all the hydrogens in the chair conformation which are staggered, while the four hydrogens are eclipsed in the Bode conformation. So these four eclipsed hydrogens, they are causing the torsional strain because they are causing the steric hindrance. So let us see, this is the Bode conformation, right? And in the Bode conformation, these four hydrogens in the pink color, you can see four hydrogens, they are in the eclipsed conformation. They are masking towards each other. All the fours, they are present on the same side of the molecule, and that is how the energy of Bode conformation is increased. So this is causing a torsional strain in the Bode conformation. Second point is, two of the axial hydrogens, they become the flagpole hydrogens. What are the flagpole hydrogens? The other two hydrogens, the axial hydrogens, they are on the each of the vertex, both the vertex on the same side, and the two hydrogens, the two axial hydrogens on each of the vertex. Now they are what? They are like the flagpole, and they are called as flagpole hydrogens. So they are generally on the carbon atom number 1 and carbon atom number 2. Now these two flagpole hydrogens, because they are also near to each other, the two axials are in the same direction. So this is again causing the steric hindrance, and this type of interaction, the flagpole interaction, it is increasing the energy of Bode conformation. So you can be asked that what is the flagpole interaction? So it is a steric strain which is caused in the Bode conformation of cyclohexane due to two of the axial hydrogens which are on the carbon atom number 1 and carbon atom number 4, or you can say they are the flagpole hydrogens which are interacting together, and such interactions are called flagpole interactions and causing the energy of the Bode conformation to increase. So again, in this diagram, you can see the flagpole interactions on carbon number 1 and 4. The two axial hydrogens, they are coming towards each other in the Bode conformation, and therefore their interactions are increasing the energy of the molecule. In case of the chair conformation, it is much more rigid as compared to the Bode conformation. Then the Bode conformation is quite flexible, and therefore it can change the positions of different axial and equatorial hydrogens frequently. So it is generally converted into a new form, which is the twist conformation. You call it a twist Bode conformation, like you have twisted a boat like this. So the Bode conformation can relieve some of its torsional strain in this manner, and at the same time it can reduce the flagpole interactions as well. Like you have seen, both the vertex, they are present on the same side. Now if you twist the boat like this, you can reduce the flagpole interaction. So flagpole interactions can be reduced when your boat conformation is changed to the twist boat conformation. So that is how the twist boat conformation is having lesser energy as compared to the Bode conformation. But yes, it is not that stable as compared to the chair conformation, and yet we have the chair conformation as the most stable one. Now, because of the greater stability of the chair, more than 99% of the molecules, they are actually present in the chair conformation at any given point of time. So if you analyze the cyclohexane at any temperature, at room temperature, 99% molecules, they have attained the chair conformation because of the greatest stability of this arrangement. This is the potential energy diagram where you can see the relative energies of the various conformations of cyclohexane. So the position of the maximum energy are conformations called half chair conformations, in which the carbon atoms of one end of the ring have become coplanar. So in this diagram, you can see this is the relative energy, and here we have the different conformations. So you see the chair conformation having the least energy. This is the structure, and the chair conformation is converting itself into another chair conformation. So this is a chair to chair flipping of the ring, and it goes via so many other possible conformations when the one chair is converting into another chair. So what are the intermediate conformers involved? So first of all, the chair conformation convert itself into half chair, and this half chair is having the highest energy, 45.2 kilojoules per mole. Then to reduce the strain, the half chair get converted into twist boat. Now this twist boat is actually very stable conformation, more stable than the half chair and the boat both. But yes, this is a very high, having very high energy as compared to the chair conformation itself. This twist boat now it is converting itself into the boat conformation where both the vertex they are on the same side. Then again the boat is changing into twist boat. Twist boat is changing itself into the half chair, and finally you get another chair conformation at the end of this flipping cycle. So this is the flipping of a chair to chair conformation in cyclohexane, and you can see different conformations involved and what is their relative energy, and you can compare their stability on these terms. You can actually compare the chair conformation versus board conformation. So in the chair conformation, all the bonds are staggered, and therefore there is no torsional strain present. But at the same time, in the board conformation, torsional strain is very high. Why? Because you see, we have C2 and C3. C2, C3, they are the eclipsed conformation, eclipsed bond, and C5 and C6, they are also eclipsed. So they are actually causing high torsional strain. Then all the bond angles in the chair conformation, they are actually near to the 109.5 degree. So this conformation has no angle strain also, but in the board conformation also the angles are near to 109.5 degree. So they it is also not containing the angle strain. But the last point and the very important point is the chair conformation has a little steric strain, but this is very high in case of the board conformation, and that is due to the two flagpole hydrogens which we are called as the 1,4 hydrogen or flagpole interactions. So two axial 1,4 hydrogens or flagpole hydrogens, they are causing the flagpole interaction, and they increases the energy of the boat conformation by providing the very high steric strain, and that is why now the boat conformation becomes unstable as compared to the chair conformation, or you can say the energy of the boat conformation is really very high if you compare it with the energy of a chair conformation. So now I have a question for you from today's lecture. You have to draw all the possible chair conformations of cyclohexane by considering the two substituents A and B on each of the carbon atoms. So what you have to do, you have to put up the A substituent and B substituent on the six carbon atoms in the axial and equatorial position, and then you have to change the chair conformation from one to other via all these half board, twisted board, board conformation like I shown you here in the slide. So you have to show the ring flipping when the two substituents are present on the cyclohexane molecule. So you have to denote them by A and B. So this is the single point of reference for me in the today's lecture. That is all from my side for today. Thank you so much.